Boise and Idaho State Police arrested 11 people for their involvement in a sex trafficking operation. Now, all were booked into the Ada County Jail on misdemeanor prostitution charges. And joining us now is Detective Mike Miraglia with the Boise Police Department to talk about that. And Detective, thank you so much for joining us here today. Can you first talk about what the goal of this operation is?
Yes, thank you, Shira. The reason we did this operation was to target buyers of commercial sex, specifically as a part of our effort to target human trafficking in our area.
Now, how does arresting people on prostitution charges impact the overall problem of human trafficking?
So it's important for the public to understand the connection between the two. They really are one and the same, the way we see it. From our experience and also the experience of our partners throughout the nation, we've come to understand that although there are a minority of individuals who are engaged in selling commercial sex acts voluntarily, the vast majority are actually there because they have little or no choice in the matter. From our casework and from studies done, we understand that's the case. We stand up every day for victims of all sorts and victims of human trafficking. Our commitment is no different than for any other. And we have done cases in the past where we've gone after the traffickers, we've gone after the pimps. And in this case, we feel that it's also important that we go after the demand side, because if we can reduce the demand for prostitution, we are also in a way affecting the who can be targeted as far as the real victims who are out there.
And speaking of those victims, I mean, where do these human trafficking victims come from?
So, quite frankly, they come from all walks of life, all backgrounds. We find that many come from broken homes, have past experiences with sexual and domestic violence, physical violence when they're children. And so it's really one of those things where they're a vulnerable population that we're trying to help out and help them get out of the life.
You know, Detective, I think a lot of people are listening to this right now and they're wondering, well, how can we prevent people in our community from becoming victims?
So I would say it starts at home, quite frankly. Like I said, individuals who suffer from a past where they've been victimized tend to be ripe for the picking, to be victims of human trafficking by others who see them only as a product to sell and to make money off of their physical or sexual labors. I think the most important thing for folks to realize is that the notion of pretty woman, the happy sex worker, is a fantasy. It's a fantasy that's perpetuated by that industry, so that individuals feel, as buyers, think it's okay, that it's a consensual act and that there are no victims involved, and that's not the case. And I would say the second part is to impart on your children through your actions and how you deal with them, that you should engender a high self-esteem in your kids. That's one of the critical pieces that helps inoculate folks when they get older from falling into the trap of being trafficked.
Real quickly, just how big of a problem is this?
I'd say it's a problem as old as any other in this world, in this country. I think Boise, we have a nice location where we live. We're fairly insulated from crimes that occur, but unfortunately it happens just as readily and just as much as any other place in the country. It happens online here. It doesn't happen out in the open, and so folks don't always recognize that that's the case, that it does exist, but it does. And victims are very hesitant to self-report what had occurred to them. And so it's a difficult one to dig up, but it's important to realize that it does happen here just as much as everywhere else.
A lot of good information there. Thanks so much for taking time to talk with us today, Detective Mike Miraglia with the Boise Police Department.